The Knicks Postgame Show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Tonight in Toronto, the Knicks were up by 23 in the third quarter. Toronto got within one, but Jalen Brunson scored the Knicks' final 5 points. The two, and then up three, the big three to put the Knicks up by 6. Knicks win 121-115. Jalen Brunson coming through in the clutch yet again. He finished the game with 28 points, and the Knicks have won 7 of their last 8. Great to have you with us back in New York from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pidto along with Alan Hahn. So much for a stress-free night. But as it is, the Knicks may have bent, but they didn't break. Toronto never took the lead. They cut the 23-point lead down to 1, but the Knicks were able to pull it out.
More Brunson magic, when you needed him. It felt like deja vu all over again. Same result in a different night. The three-pointer that ended up being the dagger, but it shouldn't have come to that. This was a game in a back-to-back after what was an exhausting game last night at Madison Square Garden. This is a game you need your bench to step up and provide you some offense and points. Ariel Hukporti gave them some good energy minutes there, but you did not get a lot out of Deuce McBride and Cam Payne, and that put a lot of pressure on the starters to have to get it done. And they did, and the only way they know how is to battle all the way to the end and make sure they get the win.
Knicks, by the way, have now won 61 straight games when leading by at least 15 points. Streak almost got broken tonight, but down the stretch, as we just talked about, the Knicks were able to prevail.
Yeah, and it seemed like the Raptors were kind of out of this thing. They weren't shooting the ball well. They weren't doing much well, but you know what they were doing well? Running. And they started running on the Knicks, and they were getting out and getting easy buckets off misses as the Knicks offense really got stagnant. They struggled to finish. And here's on the board, you just see Olynyk just coming up with the loose change and putting that bucket in, and now all of a sudden it's a 4-point game. Crowd gets into it. A young team doesn't know they're not very good. They're starting to feel good. They've beaten some good teams lately, everybody. They beat the Clippers. They beat the Celtics. They think they're a good team, or at least they think they're finding something. Right there, the tap in by Towns, and it's a 5-point lead for the Knicks. But once again, poor defense, an easy bucket there for Shed, and it turns into a 1-point game. All right, so the winners start taking over. Josh Hart, hard to the basket, gets the finish there. That's important, but how about this alley-oop? And we're still close in this game, uncomfortably close. But Jalen Brunson first, he gives you a step back. Then, almost in the same exact spot, the 3-ball, the dagger. Brunson knocks it down. And while, yes, blowing kisses, he also was like, finally, put this team away.
Get on the plane and get out. The game summary here, Alan. Again, for the second straight game, the Knicks win, even though they don't shoot well from downtown, but they win the rebounding battle. They were absolutely dominant in second chance points, 24 for the Knicks, 5 for the Raptors. Karl-Anthony Towns had a lot to do with that tonight. He had 27 and 20. 20 and 15 in the first half, finished with 27 points and 20 rebounds.
What do we say about a stat to watch? He dominates the Raptors, is just what he does. And
that's his average this year against the Raptors, 27.
Yeah, but not the 20 rebounds. He had 12 rebounds. But this game was vintage Karl-Anthony Towns. It is something that the Knicks had not seen a lot of since the thumb injury the previous 7 games. He was frustrated even with himself over the last few games. He had a huge fourth quarter last night, and he seemed to build off of that. Now, the Raptors don't have a ton of size. That goes to his advantage because he's able to work easy against Jakob Poeltl, who didn't come out for the second half because he had a hip pointer. So now you get him out of the way, and there's even less size out there for the Raptors. Karl-Anthony Towns dominated the start of this game. I thought it was great to see him set a tone in this game as well. Getting to the basket, very active body. In the second game of back-to-back, it was really impressive to see how much energy he had. And another 20-20 performance for the big man.
All right, Alan. So the Knicks go 4-0 against the Raptors this year. No R.J. Barrett tonight for the Raptors using concussion protocol. No OG Anunoby for the Knicks still out with that foot sprain. Look at Cat's numbers. 4 games, all great this year against the Raptors. We now say hello to Wally Szczerbiak. He helped call the game tonight on the radio on ESPN New York. Wally, great to see you. I missed the candy to help me get through the stretch there.
Well, it's a good thing you weren't here. This guy would have been double fisting candy at the end of that game.
Your takeaway tonight?
Great win. I got the broom, boys. Let's get it out. Let's do a little sweep in here. We swept the Raptors out of town, baby. What a win. I'll tell you, made it very interesting down the stretch of that game. with a 23-point lead, that young Raptors squad got this crowd into the game. I think Darko Rajakovic did a good job of going with a lineup that played with a lot of energy and passion. And the Knicks, you could see they were tinkering with some lineups in that second half, but you can see why Tom Thibodeau plays his starters a ton of minutes, because if you give the other team a little bit of life and they gain a little bit of momentum, especially on the road, it's tough to flip that switch. It's a good thing the Knicks have Jalen Brunson, because you can flip that switch when you have a guy that's as clutch as he is.
Yeah, Wally, we was talking about this before. When you have a second game of a back-to-back, especially a hard-working game like it was last night, you rely on your bench in that second game. Porter gave you good energy minutes. I noticed that Landry Shamet didn't play, so Tom Thibodeau went with mostly an 8-man rotation, but didn't really get much out of Campaign, out of Deuce McBride. The shooting for both of them was a struggle. I believe combined 3 for 10. So didn't it put a lot of pressure on the Knicks starters, especially Hart and Brunson, to get it done late?
Well, Huck Porty played a perfect first half. He defended Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes wanted no part of him. He was too big, too quick, blocking his shots, made him take really difficult shots. And then he rebounded the ball well, had a nice time, nice assist. I thought he complimented Karl Anthony Towns perfectly, and it shows Karl Anthony Towns' versatility. Because without OG Anunoby, I was talking about a lot on the radio broadcast, Tom Thibodeau is going with a bigger lineup. He is moving Karl Anthony Towns to the 4, which he's very comfortable playing. He answered our question when he asked him post-game about what it was like playing the 4. He said, that's what I thought I was doing when I came here. I played the 4 with Minnesota last year, so he can play both the 4 and the 5. Precious Achiuwa is interchangeable at the 4 and 5, and Huck Porty bringing that big, tough, aggressiveness and rebounding allows Karl Anthony Towns to kind of roam a little bit and not be as demanding on his body to bang and play physical. I think Tom Thibodeau saw some good things from the lineups that he can tinker with tonight, and it's a good thing moving forward to be able to play a lot of different ways.
Wally, Allen made this point at the half, and you just touched on it. With Cat at the 4, is this preparation for the potential return of Mitchell Robinson to possibly, obviously, get time at the 5, which would move Cat to the 4 if they were on the court at the same time?
Absolutely. I said the same thing during the broadcast. This is Tom Thibodeau starting to get ready for when Mitchell Robinson comes back, this team becomes another dominant rebounding team again. They dominated the board 17-11 on the offensive glass, 42-35 overall, plus 22-5 second chance points. You could see that when you get bigger out there on the floor, you just can impose your will defensively, you can protect the rim, and you can rebound. With OG Anunoby at the 4, I think he's more of a natural 3 with his size. It's tough to ask him to go down there and bang with guys around the basket. Precious Achiuwa more comfortable doing that. That's what he's done his whole entire career. Obviously, Huck Porty and Mitchell Robinson the same way. So when the Knicks get OG back, and OG's at the 3, Mikel's at the 2, Jalen's at the 1, Josh is at the 3 and the 2, you become a very big team at every single position, and that's how you compete for a championship.
All right, Wally, have a great trip home, and we'll see you soon, all right, buddy?
You got it. Can't wait, boys.
All right, so the Knicks now 34-17. They're a season-high 17 games above 500. We'll get the thoughts from the coach, Tom Thibodeau, when we come back right after this.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Welcome back, everyone. Jalen Brunson scores the final 5 points for the Knicks, and they hold off and beat the Raptors 121-115. Tom Thibodeau's postgame comments, as always, presented by Chase.
Questions?
It's just the opposite of yesterday, kind of. Instead of yesterday coming back from double digit, you had to kind of fight to hang on here.
Just find a way to win in the end. That's the bottom line. So I knew it would be a challenge. They've been playing really well. They're a fast-paced team. I thought we played really well in the first half, had the big lead. And then, we probably didn't have the same intensity defensively to start the third. And they caught us with some threes, made up some ground quickly, and then we did what we had to at the end.
Obviously, kind of effort plays have been an emphasis for you, and you guys had a ton of second chance points in the first half. How important is that to the end result?
I thought that was the difference in the game. I thought, Cat, all the offensive rebounding, it's huge. You need easy baskets. So whether they come in transition, we got bogged down for a while, and we missed some shots. Then they caught us going the other way. So I think the rebounding probably the difference in the game.
How about the contribution from Huck Porty, especially some defensive possessions on Scotty Barnes?
Yeah, and again, like most young guys, there's some good, some bad. Just keep getting better every day. That's the important thing. The size is a factor. The rebounding has got to be like at the end. We got to make sure we got bodies on guys.
The clutch gene, Paul Pierce used to talk about, isn't a real thing, scientifically. But does Jalen have that kind of mentality? Does that make any sense to you? What I'm asking? You're smiling at me.
Yeah, it's interesting. That debate is very interesting to me, and I'm surprised that you're sitting in that lane. So, but I think confidence comes from your preparation, and his ability to get to the spots on the floor that he wants to get to. He's not relying on strictly athleticism, although he's more athletic than people realize. He's stronger than people realize. But he changes speeds extremely well, and he's got a great base. So when he takes a shot, his balance is terrific. So he can get to the spots that he wants to get to. He's not afraid. I think that's probably the biggest thing. But I think the confidence is a byproduct of his work. I do.
Coach, Mikel Bridges, today he was doubtful, but play again and play great. It's like the streak of keep playing and not getting injured, is still ongoing, which is something impressive. In this era that some people question the regular season lengthy and the load management and stuff. From what are you seeing in his day to day? What is the secret behind this kind of thing?
His work. And I was just mentioning the thing about Jalen, and the same could be said for Mikal. And when you watch him work every day, you're not surprised. I think he prepares himself as well as anyone in the league. And the work that he puts in every day, I think he builds his body up to withstand the things that he wants it to do, and I think that's a big key to this. So he sort of has an old school mentality, but he's a phenomenal worker. He's got great durability, and he plays at a high level because his game is it's defense, it's getting around screens, it's running the floor, it's moving without the ball, it's running pick and roll, it's running catch and shoot. He does everything extremely well.
In this, to follow up the question, in this work ethic, obviously, to be great, you have to have a great work ethic. But in his work ethic, is there anything that especially stands out to you?
I think watching him when we first got him, and the work that he puts in year round. So I think in the summer, the amount of time he spends in the gym, not only working on the floor, but working on his body, I'm not surprised that he's got the streak that he does because it's what he puts into it.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.
All right, Alan, Coach talking about Mikal Bridges for the second straight game. He leads the team in plus-minus. He was a plus 14, played more than anybody. What else is new? 41 minutes and had another excellent game all around, chipping in with 17 points.
Yeah, the 41 minutes in the second game of a back-to-back says a lot. And it just shows you how much they rely on him. And something you and I were talking while watching the game, and watching him as closely as I've gotten a chance to watch him over the last couple of months now, one thing that stands out, I don't think we talk about enough, is he has an incredibly high IQ for basketball. He's very smart with everything he does. His cuts, timing, his ability to read the game, to understand places to go, to get to spots, all that stuff. It really is remarkable how smart he is. And then, of course, it's all those types of things, the body control and his ability to get to the basket and finish because he does finish a lot in the paint. And then, of course, he does knock down the three-point shot. But I don't think we talk enough about just how smart he is, because you can't be a high-level two-way player in this league, guarding some of the best guards in the league, and not be a really smart player. So you add him to already high IQ players like Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby. That's why this is such a very smart team, and why they're so cohesive when the five of them are on the floor together.
All right, so Bridges 17, Precious Achiuwa starting his second straight game. Season high 17 for him against his former team. Also grabbed 8 rebounds. When you go back to last year and you look at the couple of games that Achiuwa started this year, when he starts, he averages close to a double-double.
Now, he's an impactful player, and a lot of times what he'll tell you is that he believes in himself, and he'll say, I always know I can do this. It's the confidence in himself that I think stands out the most. And for him to get the season high that he got in offense, look at the 7 of 11, very efficient, the rebounding. Look at the stocks there. I love that stat. 3 steals, 2 blocks as well. So it's both ends of the floor. What a great block that was. As Scotty Barnes did not have an easy night against some of the bigs for the Knicks. Knocked down that corner 3. He also had a great clutch play, if you remember, that turnaround at the shot clock buzzer that might have counted, but they reviewed it and realized that it was still on his fingertips when he got rid of it. But still, it's a heads-up play and a huge shot at that moment of the game that he made, but then they had to take away on replay. Achiuwa has given them huge minutes. It's also been another opportunity, as Wally talked about. I thought it was a great point by Wally. It allows the Knicks to be a lot bigger when you put him out there at the 4 with Karl Anthony Towns. And I'm telling you this lineup thing about tonight, the one story about tonight, you won't remember this game months from now, or weeks from now. You'll forget this game. But you might remember this was when they started to experiment a little bit by moving Towns back to the 4 to see what it would look like and let him adjust back to that position as they get ready to get a bigger lineup with not only Mitchell Robinson, but maybe Ariel Hukporti showing you that he can also give you some spot minutes off the bench as well.
Knicks win tonight in Toronto. Big game for Cat again against the Raptors. Goes for 27 and 20. Here he is now after the game.
Carl, was this just a typical kind of find a way to win after you guys had a big lead that came down to 1?
You know, they fought back. They made shots, too, when they had to hit shots. So give credit to them. Shout out to our team. You know, just, again, finding a way to win, staying together through all the adversity, and coming out of Toronto with a win.
How about Jalen down the stretch? Just Jalen doing what Jalen does?
I mean, that's what he does, man. You get to watch the show on the court. It's the best seat in the house. So when you get to see Cap do what he does, it's a special thing.
A lot of people look at the end of games as where they're decided, but the work you guys, specifically you, put on the offensive glass in that first half, I think it was 18-0 second chance points. Just how important is every second of every game in terms of the end result?
You just setting a foundation. I just wanted to make an impact in this game, and just got opportunities to rebound the ball at a high level, and offensively just trying to do everything I can to keep us scoring the ball and also keeping the ball on the offensive side. So, like I said, I just wanted to make an impact in the game.
All right, back now from our brand new bar, the Corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. So Towns at 20 rebounds, Allen. 9 came on the offensive glass, and second chance points worth bringing up again. The Knicks had 24, the Raptors only had 5.
And I loved his energy and what he just said there, too. I wanted to make an impact on the game. No one knows more than Karl Anthony Towns just how much he has struggled over the last 7 games since the thumb injury. He was frustrated with his shooting, he was frustrated with himself. And he also saw that fourth quarter last night against the Rockets. He kind of got, just like Jalen Brunson got mad, he got mad, too, and he started playing harder. And then he said, with this game, I wanted to make an impact. And he certainly did, set a tone for the team tonight. I thought that was very important, Bill, because on a second game of back-to-back, you're going to need somebody to do that. You can't keep relying on Jalen Brunson every night to do it. And so tonight, it was Karl Anthony Towns early in the game, letting the Knicks know, I'm going to carry this.
Towns in the first half had 20 and 15. Knicks won the second quarter 38-17. The lead went up to 23 in the third quarter, and then it was Jalen Brunson win the game for us.
And that's why you have a guy like Jalen Brunson. That's why he's an All-NBA player. That's why he's starting in the All-Star game. That's why he is one of the best players in the league.
Precious Achiuwa, season high 17 against his former team. We'll get his post-game reaction when we come back right after this. Up next here on MSG after the post-game show, it's a better half hour. Knicks win in Toronto. Precious Achiuwa, season high 17 against his former team. Here he is now after the game.
Precious, for you coming back to Toronto, is this always a special place to come back to, and especially tonight getting the win?
I mean, I'm very competitive, irrespective of who we're playing against in games. Our goal is to come out here, get a win, put all the extras aside, just play basketball, play the right way, and come out with the win.
For you, filling in for OG, you did it obviously really well last season, having the 2 starts these last 2 games. Is there just a comfort level being inserted into the starting lineup for you?
It just shows, that we have a lot of talented guys on the team, guys that can play at a really, really high level, 1 through 15. For example, Eric came in today, gave us great minutes. It just shows that guys could play at a really high level, and whenever someone's number is called, they're ready. They're ready to go and ready to help us get a win.
When Achua gets minutes, he plays well. He played 36 minutes, and he had the 17 and 8. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this. So another 3 days off here for the Knicks. Boston, big one Saturday. On national TV, you can listen on the radio on ESPN New York. Then the final 2 games before the All-Star break against the Pacers and the Hawks. And then it's the All-Star break. So our next Knicks game here on MSG, not till next Tuesday, when the Knicks take on those Pacers. Pacers have been playing really well since the calendar flipped to 2025. Pre-game at 7, game at 7:30. You can also stream on MSG Plus now on the Gotham Sports app. Want more than just a post-game show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.